Yo, what's happening, people? So now that Big Sean is finally famous, let's talk about his latest release, Detroit 2. So this came out yesterday actually, and I've been bumping it ever since then in my car, listening to it. And now I have a few thoughts which I'd like to share with you guys. So let's talk about this album. So firstly, I think the most, dare I say, obvious thing about it is that it is very much a celebration of the city of Detroit by its title, Detroit 2. But I think beyond that though, this is very much about being appreciative, being humble, being grateful. You know, Arnold Schwarzenegger talks about the stages of success, where the last stage is to give something back. And I think at this point in Big Sean's career, he's in a position where he's known that he's quite established in the hip-hop genre. He's not maybe a legend in the game just yet, but certainly he's gone beyond just newcomer. So I think this is Big Sean trying to give back to the city of Detroit, you know, to show appreciation for the city that raised him, for the good times, the bad times, and everything in between. But also acknowledging that, you know, not everybody does do so well, in particular with tracks like Lucky Me. But I do think the general message of the album is really about understanding your own position in life and understanding that where you are may not necessarily be where you want to be, but it is still important to be grateful for the things you have, because it could be a whole lot worse. But even while being grateful for the things you have, it is still important to keep striving, to keep pushing for the things that are important to you, because, you know, there's still a long way to go for a lot of us, right? And I think in Big Sean's case, he's definitely come a long way from his early days, but, you know, he's still a young fella. He's only 32, so, you know, potentially there's a lot more for him to achieve. And I think this is him just trying to understand that, about being grateful for the good times and the successes, but also grateful for the struggles and the pain, because these are all things that can help propel you into that next phase of your career. Now for me, I say that the overall listening experience of the album is okay. You know, it's okay. I feel like what he's trying to do for me speaks louder than what is actually being done. And in fairness, that's not on Big Sean, that's just me. That's just all me with that, you know. It's really just down to personal taste. I think Big Sean is someone who can be absolute fire when he's on point. And with this album, I'm just not sure that I felt that same kind of fire, you know. It was more like maybe a few match strikes here and there. But let's be clear, none of that negates this album, you know. Like I say, that's personal opinion. That's nothing to do with Big Sean's skill set or his talent or what he's trying to do this album. That's just me talking about, you know, what I like, not what he should be doing. But that said, I do think this is an album worth listening to, especially for the hip-hop fans, and especially if you're from Detroit. Now, in terms of which tracks stand out, I'm not sure any tracks really stand out that much more than the others. I feel like they're all very much on the same kind of level. That said, Wolves featuring Post Malone and Body Language featuring Ty Dolla $ign and Jhené Aiko are probably the most different tracks on the album. But if I had to pick a favorite, I'd probably go with ZTFO or ZTFO for my American friends. I just really like the bass in that track, you know, it's just like really thumping. You put bass in anything, turn that bass up, and yeah, you got me, man, you got me. Now, my guess would be that most people are going to want to talk about Friday Night Cipher. And in fact, I do believe that's already generated just a little bit of controversy already about who's on it or who should have been on it. Personally, I just wasn't feeling that track. I felt like that's probably the weakest track on the album, to be honest. And that, don't get me wrong, it definitely has some cool bars here and there, but overall, I just wasn't feeling it. And I think the reason for that is because, I mean, for me, like, a cipher kind of represents just showcasing your lyrical ability. So you're not necessarily trying to make a deep point or anything like that. You're just trying to showcase how good you are lyrically. And of course, if you can do that and make a deep point, even better. But mainly you're just trying to show off how sick you are with the lyrics. And especially considering that in this particular one, a lot of the people involved are people who I believe are local Detroit rappers. There's a couple of big names in there, and it was cool that they jumped on this as well, especially as they weren't announced previously. At least I don't think they were. The names aren't in the featuring part of it, so you might not know they're there until you start listening to it. But anyway, like I say, the cipher to me represents like showcase lyrical ability, showcasing your lyrical ability. And when you have people who are, say, local rappers and you've got an opportunity to be on somebody's album, this is, you know, Big Sean's album, you know, he's been around a while, he's established, so this is a big opportunity. And look, again, personal to me, I'm sure other people would think differently, but it just felt like it just wasn't there. Like the energy, the fire, the like, it just felt like it wasn't there. It felt like people just took this as just another track to spit a few bars on, you know, and it just didn't feel like anybody was coming with that real hunger. Again, personal to me, other people can think differently, but that's how I felt about it. It just didn't feel like, in fact, I'll say overall it didn't really feel like a Cipher, as it just felt more like taking individual clips from different rappers and putting them together. For me, it just felt like it was a little bit lacking, but you know, definitely some hot bars on there. Definitely cool to see a few big names on there, and big up to Sean, big up to Big Sean for even doing stuff like this, because it does give people opportunity to be noticed, recognized outside of the city of Detroit. I mean, I'm kind of assuming that they're more local rappers. Maybe they're a bit known in other places as well. Maybe if you're more into it, you might know of them, but my guess is you probably haven't, unless you are, you know, very much into that scene. But for those of us who aren't as much into the scene, it's a chance to know these guys, and maybe it didn't quite do it for me, but I'm sure hopefully it does it for somebody, and it's people they can look up later and say, hey, let's check out, you know, T Grizzly, let's check out Cash Doll, let's check out Cash Kid, let's check out Payroll. And by the way, we can run that back again real quick. Just the names here: Cash Doll, Cash Kid, Payroll, and then T Grizzly. Like, I mean, you couldn't find somebody called Bank Account or something, or Checkbook? I mean, well, come on, keep the theme, man, keep the theme. But yeah, that's what I think of Detroit 2 by Big Sean. Let me know what you think if you listen to it. Is that a banger? Is that a wanger? Let me know. Let me know what you think of this video as well. If you like it, dislike it, recommendations, suggestions, all that kind of stuff. But that's gonna be it for the minute. So guys, until whenever, if ever, peace out, y'all.